What's goody? It's your host Jay Rose as always, and today we gotta talk about one of the most cursed teams in the NBA. Not only this season, but for the past couple of years. Honestly, more than a couple of years. The Philadelphia 76ers. Let's get into it. Over 90% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed, so if you're messing with the videos, please hit that sub button and the noti bell so you'll get notified every time I upload. But let's get back to the hoops. I just wanted to take a quick look at the 76ers just to see what's going on in their organization right now, because this team is 2-11. So scrolling through these games, you're not going to see a lot of wins. We go into game recap, I guess. We got Jared McCain, who we'll get to that later. One of the only bright spots. Joel Embiid was very bad. Notice how the high is 20 points, and it's not coming from your two highest paid players, but we're also going to get to that in a second. Let me stop getting ahead of myself. So this is a loss to the Heat. 89-106, bad loss. Next, we got the Magic, 98-86. I'm not going to say a terrible loss because the Magic have been on a decent run even without Paolo, but Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ, this is not who we thought we were going to be. I don't know why I'm saying we, this is not my team, but Paul George and Embiid, Maxi's out right now, but this was actually a very, very close game here against the Cavs. Yeah, I remember this. Jared McCain's just been going off recently, man. Really the only bright spot on this team. A blowout to the New York Knicks. They beat the Hornets by 2 points, which whoop-de-doo. I mean, the Hornets got a better record than them this season, but they lose to the Lakers. It's just a lot of losing here for Philly, honestly. But y'all get the point. We don't got to look at more games. Y'all get the point. So I want to get into really what's going on. Like, this team is genuinely cursed. Honestly, this season, I'm more inclined to say that the front office may have had a lapse in judgment rather than them being cursed. But still, this is just a bad look. You go into the season, Paul George gets hurt in the preseason. Joel Embiid also gets hurt in the preseason. He did not play in the regular season until literally like this week, right? Or last week, whenever they played their first play-in game was the first time Embiid played. He had some weird suspension for getting into some random scuffle with somebody, not a player, by the way. And then we have Tyrese Maxey, who, if all else failed, we assumed we get a Tyrese Maxey year. We just get a year of development, let him rock. And not for nothing, Tyrese Maxey has looked pretty damn good when he did get to play. He's averaging like 27 points, which I can't say that about Embiid, and I can't say that about Paul George. The only person who's even been playing up to that caliber has been Jared McCain, their rookie. And I like Jared McCain. I actually like Jared McCain. I love that he's balling out right now. He's definitely a front runner for the Rookie of the Year in this very moment, for sure. He has more 20-point games than the entire lottery combined, pretty much. But yeah, it's just not a great look. If you look at this team's past, just all the failures that they've had, all the injuries that they've had, the entire Ben Simmons situation, the Jimmy Butler over Tobias Harris situation, and now even looking at it, I kind of want to look at Tobias Harris's numbers and PG's numbers, because this is a very, very weird situation where I feel like they didn't really upgrade how they thought they were going to. They just didn't. All right, so right here we have Paul George stats on the season, which is 16.7 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, 5.1 assists on 40% field goal shooting. I know he's not shooting good from three either. Let's go check that real quick. His 3-point percentage is 28%. Whoa, brother. Whoa, that's terrible. That's really, really bad. That's really bad. Okay, now let me make the comparison. These are Tobias Harris's numbers. 13.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 44% from the field. I can only assume he's not shooting the greatest from three this season either, but it can't be no 28%. It actually is exactly 28%. That's mind-blowing. They're shooting the exact same percentage, 28.8. Either way. My entire point was Philly fans, and I guess the Philly organization as a whole, their whole problem with Tobias Harris was the input on the contract. So now you have Paul George, who you signed him to literally be better than Tobias Harris. And his contract is bigger than Tobias Harris, and he's playing pretty much akin to what Tobias Harris is doing right now. And pretty much akin to what Tobias Harris has done the last 4 years. It's only been, 13 games? But still, that product is really bad. You can look at the small sample size and say it's a small sample size, and that's cool. I can agree with that. And if you tell me to calm down, I can let you have that. But I'm just looking at the way that they're operating. I'm looking at not only Paul George, but I'm looking at Embiid too. Embiid, he looks horrible. He looks like he can't even move. And it's so bad to the point where I'm like, is this the Celtic Shaq? Is this the Greg Oden? Like, is this... to be completely honest, that's what happens to centers. Really, really good centers, when they get old, the drop-off is steep. When their knees stop working and they can't move, the drop-off is steep. I don't really want to use this comparison because Joakim Noah was never really like that on the offensive side of the ball. But word, Joakim Noah was really, really good once upon a time on the defensive side of the ball. His knees got pretty banged up. He lost his mobility, and that was all she wrote for Joakim Noah. So I'm just saying, we're looking at a center who's battled knee injuries his whole career, battled foot injuries, back injuries. He's battled Bell's palsy. He's playing through an illness right now. And he's just coming off of not playing the preseason. He didn't play much in the regular season. This is like his third, fourth game. And he looks like shit. And you can convince me, hey, he's a slow starter. Once again, just 13 games. And Embiid's only played 3. But Jesus, man. And these injuries are piling up. Embiid's already telling everybody out loud by himself, I don't want to play back-to-backs. I don't think I'm going to play back-to-backs this year. You have Paul George, who also probably won't be playing back-to-backs this year because they're both injury-prone. Now the player that you were going to rely on to not get hurt is hurt. The Philadelphia 76ers got to be the most cursed team in the NBA. To be completely honest, if they don't turn it around, I would blow it up this season. I would let Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain be my 2 young guards and see what we can get for literally everybody else. Because to be completely honest, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and their supporting cast should have gotten more wins. Tyrese Maxey is out. Paul George and Joel Embiid with the supporting cast that has Kelly Oubre, Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, Andre Drummond, Yabusele. Not the greatest names, but that's a deep team. On paper, that's supposed to be a deep team. Deep enough to not be 2-11 when your stars get hurt. And then you add on top of the fact that Jared McCain has been getting 30 almost every night for the past 2 weeks, and y'all still can't get wins. Jared McCain had a 30-point double-double. Your rookie, Jared McCain, has had a better performance than anything that Paul George and Embiid have put up this entire season, and he's done it like 4 or 5 times. So I just think this looks really concerning. There's a lot of stuff where it's like, hey, it's the beginning of the season, but this is just a bad product. This is probably the worst product that the Sixers could have came out and looked like, point blank period. They were supposed to be competing with the Celtics, competing with now the Cavs, competing with the Knicks, and they suck. They suck. The injuries obviously are there, and you can go, oh, Maxey got hurt, Embiid's not healthy, Paul George isn't healthy. 2 of those 3 guys are never healthy. So what is that already saying about how this team is going to look? And your supporting cast is not bad enough to the point where you should not be winning any games, especially with Jared McCain balling out the way he is. And I hope he continues to do that. I don't know how I feel about this Sixers team right now because honestly, I was expecting a lot more, especially from a guy like Paul George, who just got his huge contract, and he played pretty decent last year. He wasn't anything extraordinary. I don't think his entire Clippers tenure was anything extraordinary, but it was decent. He was a 40% three-point shooter. He played great defense. Now he's shooting 28% from 3. He looks slow. He's taking a bunch of hard contested shots because he can't get anything open. Joel Embiid cannot get himself open. He does not look like an MVP caliber player in any way, shape, or form. Tyrese Maxey looked pretty good while he was playing. Now he's out. This one article I just read says he's soon to return, and it might be Wednesday in Memphis or Friday against the Nets. So one of those 2 days. What I think is even more interesting is, and I forgot about this, is this right here. Let me bring up the tweet. Tyrese Maxey reportedly calling out Joel Embiid for always being late. In the meeting, Maxey challenged Embiid to be on time to team activities, calling out the former league MVP about being late for everything and how it impacts the locker room and other players to the coaching staff. Sources briefed on the meeting told ESPN. There's no team that looks worse right now. The Bucks look horrible. They don't look as bad as the Sixers. The Sixers, just from top to bottom, they look terrible except for Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey, who's not playing right now. Tyrese Maxey being your vocal leader, telling your star, your MVP, why are you late for everything? Do you know how to, when your star player is not giving a fuck about basketball, it's going to make the rest of your team not give a fuck about basketball. And the fact that Joel Embiid can't realize that on his own, and can't hold himself accountable and can't make sure his own self. You gotta have your mind right. You gotta have your body right. You supposed to be wanting to win a championship. But hey man, that's the Sixers for you. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really surprised at all. No, I'm shocked actually. Why did I say that? I'm shocked. I can't believe that they're this bad. But at that same token, I'm not surprised because, man, it's the Sixers. I can't even say I hope they turn it around. I kind of want them to blow it up. The way that I see Jared McCain balling out and the way I'm seeing Maxey ball out, and now he's holding his teammates accountable, being a vocal leader. Paul George just made a pretty penny and he looks trash. Joel Embiid does not look good right now. Honestly speaking, I don't know how many years Joel Embiid has left in the tank, even if this is not his decline year or whatever. I've been saying this since probably 2018. I don't think Joel Embiid is going to play deep into his 30s or be a star player deep into his 30s. I don't see that in the future for him. So at some point, it would be smart to move him if I'm Philly. Maybe that's not this season. Maybe it's not next season. But Joel Embiid, the closer we get to that 32, 33, you gotta move on from that. But let me know what you guys think about the 76ers. I assume your thoughts are not as different from mine because there's not too many thoughts to be had about this. They're bad. They're really, really bad. I'll catch you on the next one.